Hey guys, it's Maymay and my trusty sidekick.
Oh, Vinny's here.
Oh, Vinny, I got your camera so bad. One moment. He was laying down when I set his camera. Now he's sitting up. Look at that camera. You don't want to see
You
yourself.
don't have a head. It's the picture my grandmother always took. Top of the head's cut off.
I'm sorry. Woo.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, you got me
Woo.
blowed up there, babe.
People saw you up close. I'm sorry, y'all. That's what you get whenever you're over there laying down when I'm setting camera. Show them what you were like when I said it. So I set his camera from open and I was wrong. I was wrong.
He was chilling.
That's hilarious. Okay, so here's the thing today. I want to try and show y'all something. A lot of you, I don't know, some of you don't know that with our stamp sets you get free SVGs, and we get a lot of questions about them. And I've tried to film video. I have a filmed video about this, but there's always questions in the comments. And it's hard for me to answer all those questions. So I thought if we did this today, as we were going, I could answer questions, if that made sense. So we're going to look at, I'm going to do this with the Cricut Joy. And the first thing I want to say is this. Everything I do today can be done on any Cricut machine. What I'm doing because I'm using the Joy doesn't even matter. I could hook any machine up right here and use it, but the Joy fits on my work surface. What matters is design space. And people struggle understanding that what you, the machine itself is nothing, really, honestly. It's just a blade that moves around. What matters is design space. Design space tells the machine what to do. So people struggle with that. I want to make sure that we talk about that. The other thing I need to do really quick is let me open up my website so I can show you where to get the SVGs from. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask questions, and what I need from the two of you is I need you to be, if you have to write them down, if you have to whatever, we need to not miss a question, because I know they get missed. I can't type and talk. Maymay Made It. I know they get missed in the videos. So please, 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 let's try not to miss any questions today. Also, if you have other Cricut questions you want to ask, this is a great time. Also, if you would like to take a Cricut class from me, I have one this Saturday. I believe there's spots available. I can't imagine there aren't.
There are.
I have one this Saturday. If you are interested in taking a Cricut class from me, it's only $19.99. And not only do you learn every single thing about design space there is to know, in my opinion. I mean, there's other things, but it's deeper than we need to get. But you also get access to Shannon to ask her Cricut questions anytime you have them. And that's been very helpful for people, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think we've taught 150 and 150 and 150. How many is that?
450.
We've taught about 450 students in the past 2 months, hadn't we? And you haven't been flooded with emails. Like people really are being very respectful of that, and we answer them. And if I have to answer you with a video call, I'll answer you with a video call because we want you to know what you're doing. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn Vinny and I off because I want you to be able to see the whole screen. So there goes me, there goes Vin. Here comes my website, okay? So on the website, this is the MAYMAYMADEIT.INFO site. Now, we have this in two places. If you've been getting it from the MAYMAYMADEIT.com site, you can keep doing that there as far as I know. I don't believe that has changed. We do want to merge this over to this site, but I think we've left it there for a little while. By the way, everybody needs to go read that blog post today because what Kim Dixon made is so adorable. So once you go to MAYMAYMADEIT.INFO, here, let me bring this over here. Here in the middle, there's two menus I want you to see. There's a menu at the top, and then there's a menu in the middle. Your middle menu has a spot that says free downloads. You see the circle over my cursor? That's what you need to follow. Follow the round ball. I'm going to click that and make that drop down. So when I click it, you can see here we have SVG files, PDF files for projects, and stamp set listing. You guys may not know any of this exists. This is probably going to be a really informative video today. So the SVG files are, if I have an SVG for that stamp set, which we try to have one for every stamp set, but there are some that are older that we don't have, and I'll tell you what you can do about that in a second. But we try to have them for every stamp set. So these are free, okay? If I've ever done a project where I've said, I've given you a free PDF, it's in the description, link in the description, you can find those here. And then this is kind of cool. If you ever want a listing of all my stamp sets, I think it's alphabetical.
Yes.
You can come right here, get a listing so you can check off and see what you've got. Kind of cool.
And
You got time for a question?
Does it have to do, let's try to keep questions in, like topically, just so we don't lose. I don't know what the question is. I'm just saying, let's try, if it has to do with where I'm at, but if it's for when we get into Cricut, save it for there.
Can the SVG file be used on the Cricut Create?
What is the Cricut Create? I'm lost. What's Cricut Create?
Hey,
Is this some new thing I don't know about? Cricut Create. Am I blocking it out?
I can't answer that question.
Tell me what the Cricut Create is. What is that? I'm lost.
And the
Okay.
other question was, why is it that some SVGs only save as a web archive? Am I doing something wrong?
I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay, this will probably answer that question. Here's what I did to make life easy on you. Okay, some people don't understand just how easy I've made this. These are not downloadable files. You don't have to download and then upload anything. I didn't want to do that. I want you to be able to click and go. So you're going to click on SVGs. Okay.
Okay, I hate to keep interrupting, but they ask a question fast. Pam asked, where is that site?
MAYMAYMADEIT.INFO.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's what you do. You've clicked on the SVGs for stamp sets, okay? I'm going to be using the one today called All About Her. It's one of our newest sets. Is it our newest set? I think it is our newest set. We have a new one coming out tomorrow, yeah. So this is our newest set. So All About Her, it's right here. So I'm going to click this title, okay? This is the SVG. You don't have to download anything. Here's what you do. You right-click on this image. Let me say this first, because a lot of you guys that don't know what an SVG are like, what is that? Why do I want that? You'll see before we're done. It is just outlines. It is not the stamp set. You have to have the stamp set to work with this, okay? So it is just the outlines like a die cut for your stamp set. Now what you do is you right-click, and when you do, you're going to get this option, Save As. That's what you want. You're going to click Save As. When you do that, your computer should ask you, where do you want to save it? I'm going to put it on my desktop because I put everything on my desktop.
Yes, you do.
Some people don't, but I do. Now you can see that this says All About Her 1 in parentheses. The reason it has that 1 is because I already have this on my computer. It's just telling me this is the copy number 1. If I did it again, it'd be copy number 2, 3, etc. Okay? So I'm going to tell this to save. I don't care that I've already got it there. That's fine.
The Cricut Bugger says that the Create does not use design space.
What is the Create? Y'all got to tell me because I got to know what that is.
It's their die cutting machine. It is a Cricut Create machine. Is a personal electronic cutter. Is an innovative die cutting machine from ProvoCraft. It uses the Cricut cartridges.
Let me see that. What the heck? Oh, it's like one of the original
it's
machines.
like
I
the
had to look at it.
original.
Yeah. No, it does not work with those. It only works with Design Space. SVG's on, gosh, that took me back. The only one, the oldest one I remember is the, well, I guess it was the Create, but I didn't realize it was called the Create. Gosh.
Wasn't it one called the Inspiration or
Well, Expression.
Expression? Sorry.
But the Create's before the Expression. I didn't even realize. Okay, so I have now saved this to my computer. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. So now let me do this. I want to keep you guys from getting dizzy, so I'm going to bring you guys back to the desktop while I switch screens. I'm not doing anything that you don't know how to do. I just don't want to make you dizzy with all of this switching around. So I'm going to close this down, and now I'm going to open Cricut Design Space, okay? And I'm going to bring you back to it. This way you won't be dizzy. Trust me, it's the best way to do. Okay, so I've opened Design Space, and to do that, I have it downloaded on my computer. I just click on the icon, it opens up. I'm signed in. How do I know I'm signed in? At the top of the page it says, Welcome, Maymay. If it doesn't say Welcome, Maymay, it doesn't know who I am. So there you go. Now, I have my SVG
Now
saved.
theirs won't say Welcome, Maymay.
Not unless you're signed into my account bogusly.
Theirs will say Welcome whoever they are, right?
So before I move on, let's answer any questions right there, because that is typically where people ask so many questions because they're like, I don't know how to download your SVGs. I made them so you don't have to download them. You just save them. Just right click and save. And you don't have to do all that download then upload junk. Or zip. There's no zip file.
The only one that we haven't answered already is, will you show us how to upload to our Cricut Machines?
Yes, but I want to make this clear. You never upload anything to your machine. Nothing goes on your machine. The machines don't do that. Like, this is the thing I'm wanting to answer. The machines do what the computer tells them to do, or
It
what the
just-
iPhone or what the iPad tells them to do.
They're
They
just
don't hold
scissors.
anything. So I want to make sure I say that because it's so confusing to people.
So technically, you're uploading it to Design Space?
Yes, your machines, any of the machines that work with Design Space, the newer machines, any of the machines, they don't care what you load to Design Space, until you tell it to work with it. Like this machine sits here waiting to be told what to do. I'll say it like this. I'm going to clear it up for you. Your machines are just like your printers, okay? Your printer has a job. It does a job, and it knows its job, but it only does its job when the computer tells it to do it, right? It's the very same with all of your machines. So when people go, I don't know how do I get that on this machine? It doesn't go to the machine. It goes to Design Space. So it's just like when you're typing in Word or Pages or something like that. That is a software program that you are telling what you want your printer to do. It is literally the same thing with Design Space.
Okay.
And it is very confusing. That's why I want to answer that question.
So Annette asked, is it possible to just print them off from your desktop to the printer if you don't have a Cricut any longer?
Yes, but I will say this. There's no reason to do that. Here's why. If you're going to fussy cut them, just stamp the image and fussy cut them. Like, I mean,
Yeah, you can
there
like
there
bubble
would,
cut around it if
yeah,
you want it to look
it'd
like
be a
it.
lot easier to bubble cut around your image than to print that off and then
Yeah.
cut out that line and then try to do this. It would be a lot easier just to fussy cut it. But I mean, you could, but you probably have to resize them. I would imagine you probably have to resize them for your printer.
Do you remember what machine was the first one to work with Design Space?
The first Explorer.
So
Explorer 1.
Expression 2 will not work with it.
No expressions or back will work with it.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at how we use them. I've loaded an SVG, so hold questions, okay?
Okay.
I've loaded an SVG onto my computer. Now I've opened my software called Design Space, and I'm going to click on New Project, okay? And mine's, I could explain to y'all why I have a delay, but it won't make any sense. It won't make any difference. Now let me show you a secret tip. It's not really a secret tip, but these are my two favorite things. There is a oh, that is my phone. I have told it. How many times can I say do not disturb and it's still disturbed? I don't know how to make that stop. I think it's Wi-Fi calling. Okay, where my cursor is, do you see it? This is a secret tip. It's not really secret. It's been around a long time, but a lot of people don't realize it's still there. If you click the square between the two zeros on the axis marks up here at the top, if you click that, it gets rid of the grid marks. I don't like the grid marks. They make me dizzy. They get in my way. The other thing I like to do, because you guys asked me to do this so you can see my screen better, at the bottom right hand of the screen, there's this thing called blank canvas. If you click on that, okay, at the top of the screen, I can now change my canvas color. So there's this little thing called color, and I can click that. And now I like to change it to green because I think it's easy on the eyes, but you could change it to whatever color you want. This has no effect on what I'm doing. It only makes it easier for you guys to see the screen and for me to work on the screen, okay? So those are the two things I do every time I open a new file because that's how I like to work. Now you guessed it, we're gonna upload an SVG. Now, I told you we don't do all that download, upload stuff. We don't. We save a picture, but now I want to bring that picture into Design Space. And to do that, I do it at upload. So I'm going to click upload. And right here, I've already done it. I did mine before because I used it the other day, but I'm going to redo it for you guys to see it. Right here, I'm going to click upload image. Notice how pattern fill is closed out? That's okay because we're doing upload image. So I'm going to click that. Now I'm going to browse my computer. I hope I have no giveaways here. Okay, I don't think I will. Right here, all about her SVG 1. See how I had it in there before? I'm going to bring the one we did today in. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to say open. Now, if you're a person that has a bazillion things on your desktop, you can make a file and then upload to that file so you can find them easier if you need to. But you see what we got here? We have a cut image of lines. I did this on purpose to make it super easy, super easy. What a lot of people do is go, I got to make it harder. It feels harder, but it's not hard. This is how you do it, okay? So now we're going to say upload. Now, I will tell you this. There have been times that we have had an SVG load funny, like loaded up in here and it's funny. If that ever happens with my SVGs, I ask you to email Sylvia at MAYMAYMADEIT.INFO and say, hey, I'm having trouble with this SVG, and she goes and checks it. It's interesting because they'll be fine, and then somebody will load it and it'll do something funny. We've noticed it, and Sylvia will have to go in and do something to fix it. I don't know if the file messes up over time or what, but she's had to do that. So don't worry if you have to. Now let me tell you something else. Let me say one more thing before we go. Okay. When you load these, okay, you want to name them your stamp set name so you always know what it belongs to. So I'm going to take that parentheses 1 off of there because we don't need it. And then down here where it says enter keyword separated by a comma, you probably want to use this. And here's why I tell you. You can search your projects and things like that, and these tags are what helps you do that. So I'm going to call this all about her, comma, stamp set, comma, SVG, comma. And then whenever I need to search it, or if I'm ever searching those words, it will have a much easier time coming up. And I believe that they're going to do a better job of this whole situation sometime in the future, so you should do that. Question?
Okay, the question was, do we open Design Space after we load the SVG to our computer?
After you save it to your computer, yes. So actually, doesn't matter. You can just minimize design space, go to my website, save it to your computer, then maximize design space. Like I didn't close it out. Just click the button and shut it down, click the button, bring it back. You don't have to actually close out and come back in, if that makes sense. Was that it?
I don't think I've missed any other ones.
All right, so here's what you do. We've uploaded it. It's sitting right here. I'm going to click it, and I'm going to come to the bottom right and say Insert Image. Now, this is where you can play around. Now, do you notice that these are like red blobs? We don't care what color they are. You're going to cut them on whatever paper you want to. You see they're red blobs. I want to show you this, though. They come in grouped, and they come in the right size. If you drag this or change the size of this in any way, they no longer will fit your stamps. This is important. An SVG is a scalable vector graphic, which means it does not pixelate when you spread it out. So if you spread it, you'd be like, oh, I can't see this. Let me stretch it down. You can't do that because that changes the size. You need your SVG to stay the size of your stamp, okay? So if you're wanting to zoom in on this, I'm going to pull it to the middle so I can show you this. If you're wanting to zoom in and see closer, you need to use the zoom feature down here at the bottom left. Click this little button. Make it where you can see it, okay? Don't stretch this image. It needs to stay this size. Does that make sense? I think it does. All right, it is grouped together. So you can see all these images are grouped together. That means if I click off of here and I want to click on this big flower, if I click right here, it's going to choose everything because it's grouped together. But I can ungroup it. Top right, there's a button called Ungroup. So when I click Ungroup, now when I click on this big flower, that's what I get, okay? So now let me tell you something. I'll do it so you don't have to. If I do this, things move around. It does not matter for the finished project. It can move around anywhere on the mat it wants to move around. I can put it wherever I want it. I just want you to know if you click and drag, they're going to move around. If I move something where I don't want it, I have an undo button at the top. Put them back, please. Put them back. Okay? That really doesn't matter. Now I want to show you this. Let's say I want to cut 5 of these, of the flower. Okay? I can click on the flower, I can come to the top, and I can click duplicate 4 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives me 4 flower SVGs, and I have not adjusted the size. I haven't messed with any of that. All of these will cut now the correct size, and I will have 5 of them. Okay? But now let's say I don't want any of these tiny words. Maybe I'm not going to be using those tiny words. Here's how I close them out because I want to show you something. You see over here how this, your layers bar on the right-hand side, it just is a bunch of blobs. And like, if you want to turn off this blob, it's kind of hard to see it over here. Do you know what I'm saying? Here's how you do it. I don't want this blob. If I click it, it then highlights it in my layer bar. So now I know which one I'm working on. I want to make sure everybody sees that. And then I can click the eyeball and turn it off. So let me do that again. I'm going to undo because I want to do the same one again. So I don't want this word right here or whatever this image is. I click it. Then in the right-hand bar, it is now highlighted for me to know that's the one I clicked. And I turn the eyeball off. Now, why do I turn the eyeball off and not delete? If you delete the image, you're deleting it from your saved file. okay? If I just turn it off, if I ever want it, I just go over there and turn it back on. Make sense? If I close the eye where we're not seeing it, it stays there. If you delete it, you're deleting it out of here and you'll have to upload it again to get to it. Make sense? I'm looking at my heads in here to make sure they're bouncing. All right, so let's do that with everything I don't want. Because I don't want this one, don't want this one. And actually, let me show you another trick. And this is the hardest thing for me to teach people. But if you have your keyboard, okay, you click one, then you hold down Shift, okay? Holding Shift down, I click the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. You know, all the ones I want. I'm holding down Shift, and it is over there selecting all of them. And I don't know if this will work or not, but nah, it doesn't. It doesn't work great for that. But I wanted you to see you could select things multiple, which people don't realize. So let's turn these off. I picked a very big SVG to play with today. One with every single word. And that's another thing. If something we have is mostly images, when you open an SVG, you're going to see that she mostly just gives you the images. If something we have is mostly big sentiments, when you open it, you're going to see that it's just big sentiments, if that makes sense. We're not going to give you every tiny little thing. Sometimes she does. It just depends on what it is and if it makes sense. Like these words are chunky words, so you could literally cut these out and stamp them. Does that make sense if I say it like that? Like, this is not like little tiny delicate words. These are pretty chunky. So let me get the other of these turned off so we're not using them. But again, I'm just turning them off. I'm not deleting them. So I can come back to them at any time and get them back. Now, I don't really want this one either, so I'm going to turn it off. And these are the two larger sentiments. I'll cut both of those. And I tell you what, I don't need 5 of these. So here's what I'm going to do here. Because I duplicated these, I am going to delete all but one, because I don't need any more than that to show y'all, okay? So I'm going to delete all but one. So there's that, okay? Now, I've had this question before. Is there a question?
I don't think so.
I've had this question before. What if I want to manipulate this image in any way? The only thing you cannot do is you cannot stretch it. You cannot change its size. If you change its size, it will no longer fit your stamped image because you can't stretch your stamped image to fit it, okay? But what you can do is you can duplicate this, move it out here to the side, okay? I can rotate it around. Why am I rotating it around? Because if I rotate it, I can just stamp it upside down, if that makes sense. Then I could connect this guy together if I wanted to, like that, if I wanted these to connect. And I could weld these together. I wouldn't weld them. Let me think for a second. I wouldn't weld them. I'd weld them, because that's what we'd want to do. We'd weld them together. And then I could cut them as one piece and stamp this flower this way and this flower this way. Now, would I want to do that? Not necessarily. But there may come a time, you know, maybe you want to make a sentence out of a set of words. You could totally link them together and do that. I will tell you this, though. If you weld them and you save the file, you cannot unweld them. So if you do it, you may have to create another file later because you cannot unweld them. That's a whole different class, okay? All right. Any SVG questions? Is it making sense for people? Have I answered some questions that you didn't realize?
A couple have said that you can group them and hide them all together, but I don't know how you're
How do you do it? I don't know how to do it.
And then somebody said, is it done the same way for the brother scan and cut?
No.
I was going to say.
Number one, I cannot tell you how to use their Canvas material, their Canvas program, because I don't know how to use it. It was too hard and I didn't try. Just like I'm not using it. I'm being honest with you. The scan and cut, I have a video on where what I do with my SVGs is I load them to a jump drive and I load them straight into the scan and cut, because on the scan and cut, you do load stuff into the machine. You don't have to. You can load it with their Canvas. They have a software just like this. But I load them directly into my machine because I can turn my machine on, choose my stamp set by title, which is amazing, pick it, cut it instantly, don't have to even open my computer. I already have a video on that if y'all want to link it in there. It's SVGs with the brother scan and cut, I think is what it is. So I don't know how to group them all together and turn them off at the same time. Is it a right click thing? I wonder if it is. Let's see.
Were you holding shift down?
Shift selects them all. Shift selects them all. Right click says, don't do it here. I can group them if I right click, cut, copy, duplicate, delete, attach, weld.
Lizzie says, highlight all items you want to hide, group them, then hide the group.
Oh, hide the group. Okay, yeah, you can do that. Yes, you can do that. So you group them, they become one item that you then turn off. She's right. Okay, so there's that. Any other questions before we go to cut?
I don't think so.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this. Here's what's important. You have to tell it what machine you're cutting on. I'm going to cut on the Joy. Some people go, why does it matter? Why do I have to tell it which machine? Well, if you're cutting on the Joy, you have a much smaller parameter on your mat. Like your Cricut will say, this project's too big for your Joy if it can't be cut on the Joy, if that makes sense. So you do have to tell it which machine. So we're going to use the Joy, and I'm going to say make it. Now when I say make it, it's going to pop up on the screen. With my Joy, I have to pick what I'm cutting on, and I'm just going to cut on a mat because I'm cutting cardstock. So I'm just going to do this. But if I were cutting smart vinyl, I do it here. If I was doing pre-fold cards, and if I was doing multiple cuts, I'd do it there. So I'm going to click done. Now, I had this question this weekend, and it was really, really good because I had never thought about this. But a friend of mine said, every time I load an image to cut, it makes my mat black. Think about this, Shannon, what I'm telling you. She's like, every time I design an image, like a flat image, not a layered image, but a flat image, and I bring it in, it makes my mat black. And I was like, why would it do that? And then I went, oh, notice how my mat is red? Because it thinks I'm using red paper, it turns my mat red.
Whatever
So I
color
said,
your
that's
object
right.
is.
I said, so your image must be black and you're bringing it in. Because when it's black, she can hardly see, you know.
Yeah.
I said, your image must be black. And I said, it doesn't matter because you know you're going to put something else on your mat. So just change your image color. Like if you change it to white, your mat will be white so you can see.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I've never had that as a thing, and so we figured it out. Okay. Here's something you cannot do with SVGs. You cannot mirror them. You can, but you're just stamping on the back side then. You know what I'm saying? Like the image comes from the stamp. So if you mirror them here, you're just going to flip it over and have to stamp on the back anyway. So don't worry about that. You only mirror when you're using vinyl for like t-shirts and junk. So don't worry. Or if you're putting vinyl on the inside of a window, you want red from the outside or something like that. But here you don't have to do it. I'm leaving my mat size this size and we're all set to go.
Nicole has a question.
Okay.
Nicole says, I know with the Cricut Joy, you can use a Design Space app on your phone.
Yes.
Are these the same steps to use?
I did a video. Can we find that one on the iPad in SVGs? Didn't we do? You and I did that because we showed how to use Dropbox and make it happen. Remember? It was like one of the first things we did. Sheena's going to link a video using your iPad. Now, your phone, I have not mastered. One day I might can master it, but right now I haven't. But I think the phone's too small for me to use anyway. Like I never use it for designing, but I will use my iPad. So she'll link that video for you, which will explain at least that part for you. More questions before I move on? Okay. Now I'm going to have to go away from this screen, but I want to show you what I want to do this before we go. I'm going to tell it to continue. Okay. It's looking for my Joy, and it may not find it because it sits dormant. It did find it. My Joy sits dormant on my desk until I'm ready to use it, and I want to give you a tip. If it does that to you, just unplug it from the back, plug it back in, it'll wake back up. That's how we do it. Okay. Now remember how I've told y'all in the past, you have to know how to talk to your machine, okay? I never, ever, ever, I could be wrong, and somebody can correct me if you want to, it does not matter. I never tell it the actual cardstock I'm using, unless I'm using like washi, like really thin paper, or rice paper, or something really thin. This is the setting I use for cardstock every time, glitter cardstock, and I will tell you why. Glitter cardstock tells my Cricut that I'm using a thicker cardstock, which I always do because I don't use thin cardstock, and it also tells it to do a double cut. So I don't have to tell it to. This does it for me. It's built in. So if I choose, I know that I'm not cutting glitter cardstock, but the Cricut don't know, right? So I click glitter cardstock, and now I know I'm going to get that double cut. If you want to, you can adjust your pressure here. I don't because I tell it glitter cardstock, so I know it's giving it that harder pressure anyway, and I know it's doing a double cut, so we're fine. Here's where I have to cut away because I want to go back to the Joy so y'all can see what's happening here. So look what we've got here. It's telling me your base material is glitter cardstock. I need you to load your fine point blade, and I need you to load your paper on, load your mat into the machine. So I'm going to cut away from here. I'm going to bring y'all, let's see, how do I do this? I forget how. I'm going to do that. There we go. So I'm going to bring y'all here so you can see what we're doing. Now, here's something I love that I bet you haven't thought about with your SVGs, because we tend to think this. We don't have to use solid color cardstock. We can use pattern. So like if I wanted to stamp my sentiment or my flowers on a pattern paper, let's use this one because this is pretty. Or if I want to stamp my sentiment on burlap, I can because I'm loading it to my mat, you see. Now, I don't need a full sheet of this, so I'm going to cut it down a little bit because I don't have a scrap of this one. Actually, let me check and make sure I don't have a scrap of something before I cut this. If I have a scrap of something I can show y'all with, I won't cut a whole sheet. Ben is getting real low on my favorite kinds of scraps, you know what I'm saying?
I stuck a piece of craft right.
That's too small. Well, I want something with a pattern. I want them to see
Oh yeah, sorry.
how you can use a pattern paper. How's this one? Oh, that ain't bad. That's probably enough. Let's try it. If it's not, we can recut it. Okay. So I'm just going to trim this down just to get the messiness gone here. Trim this down. Again, guys, if y'all want a full Cricut class where I teach you, in my regular Cricut class, we go over every single button. I teach you every function on there. If you want to see that, I have that class coming up tomorrow. This may not be the right size after all.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Sorry, I thought that was, but that's not right. I think I'm going to just make it. So what I'm doing is I'm looking on the Cricut at my mat to see if this is going to, I think it's just going to, I think I got just enough. Okay. So notice I'm using a pattern paper because Cricut don't care. Cricut don't care. And now I'm going to put this in. And it's checking my mat to make sure everything's good. And then I'm going to say go. I have to say go on my computer because I'm using the Cricut. If you're using your big machine, you'd press the Cricut head. Now, this is not super thick cardstock, so I could cut it once, but it'll still cut it twice. And that may be overkill for you guys, but I get so frustrated with my thick cardstock when I forget to tell it to cut twice that we discovered one time when doing about 150 kits that if we just told it we were cutting glitter cardstock, we didn't have to do anything but run it. You know what I'm saying? And it would cut twice, and we wouldn't have to go in and do a special setting.
Can the class be purchased and watched later?
It can. And I think it works. Matter of fact, I'm going to be filming this class and offering it for purchase that's not a live stream because so many people are asking me to do that. And we're going to chapterize so you can click from attach to weld to slice to da-da-da, and we talk about each thing. So I'll be doing that. Hopefully I'll be filming that next week. I might can start filming it tomorrow. I'm not really sure yet. But I would love it if you guys want to attend my Cricut class. I think we learn a lot in there. I mean, what do you think, Shannon? If anybody
Yes.
in the chat today is taking the class, tell us if they should take it.
Yeah, a couple said early on when you said something about it to take the class, they learned a lot from it. And if you buy the class and you can't watch it then and you have any questions, you can email me, and then I ask Maymay, and then I email you the answer back.
So literally, if you buy the class,
still get the perks.
So if you buy the class and you can't watch it for 2 weeks, when you watch it, make a list of questions, send it to Shannon, and I will answer them. She sits across the desk. She goes, I got a Cricut question. I'll go, okay. She'll ask it. We answer it and send it right to you, so you get access to that as well. I just want y'all to be able to use your machines.
Yes, Rhonda, the class that we have Saturday is a live class, but it is recorded, and all you have to do is click on the link that you click on Saturday to go back and watch it anytime.
You can save it. You can save it in your
Yeah.
YouTube. You can save it on your computer. You can save it for whenever you need it. And if you for some reason ever lose the link, Shannon can give it to you. Just email her, I lost the link. She can send you the link.
Yes, and if anybody has purchased the link and has lost the link or can't find their link, email me now before Saturday, because sometimes I don't have time Saturday morning to email you when you can't find your link.
True. So if you've purchased this class and forgot and you need the link, ask her today so she can, today or tomorrow. All right, now on my, let me do this. Let me show you. I want y'all to see this real quick. So on my computer screen, it's asking me, am I complete or do I need to rerun it? How cool is that? No, we're done. You could rerun it, which means you could if you don't unload it and you rerun it, you can cut in the same spot again. Isn't that cool? I don't need to because I use that cheater method. So I'm gonna tell it to unload, click that button, come back over here to you guys. Turn this one off. Sorry, technology. All right, and then put this guy back to bed. I love that Cricut Joy so much. Then what I do, okay, is I remove this piece. Watch how easy, because I did the glitter setting. Y'all need to know that. It's true, ain't it?
It is.
So true. Glitter setting. Love it. Okay. Comes off super easy. Now I can stamp on here. And what I do, I leave it on here, okay? And here's what's really awesome. You don't have to do it. I'll show you both ways. Here's what's really awesome. If you use, well, there it is. I lost the stamp. Found it.
That could be my
I
fault.
told Shannon this morning, I've lost the stamp.
Well, I
Here
heard
it is.
you, and I was looking at blocks, but I didn't think about the misty.
Yeah, all my blocks were empty. So there we go. Found the stamp. Found the stamp. Let me show you.
Found
With
the
your
stamp.
regular, you don't have to do it this way. Do not stress. I'll show you, but I'll stamp it the other way. With your regular size Misty, look at this. Come on, guys. This is my favorite thing in the world.
Yes.
I showed a video of this. It's amazing. I love this. Okay, and then you can just lay this down, line it up like it needs to go. Green on green was tough, but I did it. And then you would pick this up and stamp it. Okay, I'm not going to. I'm going to show you how. If you don't have a Misty, it works either way.
Can the class be purchased anytime, or is it only available for purchase for Saturday?
This particular one is only available for purchase on Saturday, but I will be filming the class to be a separate standalone class for just that purpose. Because we've heard from a lot of you that you would like to purchase it just as a standalone. So I hope to get that finished next week. Okay, I'm going to pick this up on a positioner. This positioner is my favorite. These rubber feet are very sturdy and very small. They stay out of your way, and I really love that. So then what I'm going to do is take my favorite ink, VersaFine Onyx Black. I'm going to ink this up. Oh, am I shaking the table? Sorry. I get excited. It's fun. Ink that up. Then I can now wiggle this around. Now, one thing that I have to be super careful of, I am the worst at lining these things up, is my mat kind of lifts it. So I'm not laying my press down completely just yet. And I just kind of drive this into place, okay? Then press it. Now here's another tip. Don't hurry. One reason you are not successful in your stamping venture is because you think, I just press it and lift. This is ink, and it's best to over stamp. It's best to press it 15 times than one time and have a mistake, right? So press it, press it, press it, lift it up, and look, that's gorgeous on that pattern paper. Let me let that focus. Focus, please. Hello. Let me get closer, just to make it blurrier. Why is it not focusing? Well, you can see it right about there. Isn't that beautiful on that pattern paper? And then imagine coming in and coloring on top of that pattern paper. It's so pretty when you do that. Benny, lunch has done you in. You were about to fall asleep over there. You tired?
I don't know.
You
Seem
are
to
tired.
be.
You seem to be tired.
I'm
Okay.
hot.
Well, open the door. It's fine. Let's stamp our sentiment. And I did both big ones, didn't I? I just like leaving them on here for stamping. And these I'm not going to worry about the positioner. And the reason is these are easier for me to line up. I always kind of do a little test just to make sure. And then do them. I like to leave them on my mat because that keeps them still. And if I keep my hands off the mat, I do real well. Here we go. I kind of wiggled. But that happens. Look how great. Love it. Love it. Love it. And then, won't these be pretty on a card or a project? I think they will. Then, oh, I didn't test it, but that's okay. It goes right here. So, there you go. Now, another thing I want to show you. Don't just peel these off, okay? They're tiny and they're a little delicate. Here's what you want to do. You want to kind of round this like this so that they kind of lift, and then you barely take them off, and what happens is you don't get this whole curled up, look how flat they lay. You don't get a curled up piece because of the way we took it off. And then instantly put this guy back. I've got a little piece laying right there. Then instantly put this guy back. Tamitha, did you hear that door? She loves that door because when she's having to edit, she's like, that creaking door.
That's why I listen carefully.
That creaking door.
Make sure she's not talking when I open the door.
So there you go. Pretty. Why is that not focusing? I'm not used to that. Usually this guy focuses so good. There you go. That's using it, and that's using it with pattern paper. You don't have to use it with pattern paper. All right, let me get where y'all can see us again. Oh, Vinny left the room. He'll be back or won't. I don't know.
He said he'd be back.
And I'm going to close this out and get to where I can see y'all's comments because I want to be able to answer anything.
Do you have SVGs for all of Maymay stamp sets at this time?
No, I think there's still a few, but we're not exactly sure which ones they are. And Sylvia has gone through and done all she can find that are missing. So all I need to do is, like, if you want one and you go to look at that list and it's not there, just email Sylvia, and it's real easy. Sylvia@MAYMAYMADEIT.INFO. And just let her know, hey, I'd like an SVG for this one. She'll do it, they'll upload it, and then she'll let you know when it's available.
How long is
I gotta
the life
sit on my
of a
foot,
mat?
y'all. The life of the mat depends on how much you use it. Like, this particular mat has done fantastic. Like, I haven't had to redo anything to this mat for a very long time. I will tell you this, Cricut mats are 100 times better than Brother ScanNCut mats. Like, I don't know if you have them to know the difference. Cricut mats last a lot longer. One thing about them I really like is their glue adhesive. Their adhesive even you can feel it, like it stops my finger, where with ScanNCut it's like there's nothing there. But I have a video on my channel showing y'all how I re-stick these. And a lot of people will tell you to use spray adhesive, but I'm not a spray adhesive user. Like, I don't like to breathe it in, and I don't like how it goes all over wherever I'm using it. So I use Zig 2-way, and it's perfect because the chunky Zig 2-way glue is about the same size as 2 of these squares. So you literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swipes pretty much, and you've covered it. And as long as you let the Zig 2-way air dry, it is a temporary adhesive then. And then what I do once I re-stick it is I hug it, okay? So it's got fresh re-sticking. I put it on my shirt and hug it for a couple of times and then peel it off. Yes, Miss Joan, they are stinkola. I agree. I always put my Zig on my Brother ScanNCut mats almost instantly. Maymay does still have a Cricut code. Thank you, Bug. It is Maymay Made, right?
Yes.
Maymay Made, and it works on things that aren't machines. So, and I think it's 10% off and free shipping over $50. I think
so.
Have you found the cheapest place to buy the Joy? I find Cricut is cheaper, but the reason I find it's cheaper is because I like their bundles. They do good bundles. They're not like, so there's other places that do bundles, right? But they give you a bunch of stuff you don't want in the bundle. So what I like about how Cricut does things is they do different bundles. So they do like a card maker's bundle and a vinyl bundle and a this bundle, and you get the actual things you want for what you're going to use your machine for. And when they put them on sale, you can't beat Cricut price. I've not found it cheaper unless you're buying used. But I personally think being able to get those, like I bought the card maker's bundle for Joy. That was I loved it because I got those card making mats. I got the markers. I got all kinds of stuff at like I bought it on sale when they had a sale. I got a really good price. Really good price. All right. There's my Cricut code. Hug it. That's what I do. I hug it. Hey, G. Hey, G.
It looks like they got some Cricut bundles on sale, y'all. So go to Cricut and look.
Use my code anyway. Like, put it in, put a code in when you're checking out anyway, because sometimes there's something in your cart you don't realize it'll work on. If it won't work, it'll tell you it won't work, but try it anyway.
Yes, Janet. Cricut has a sale on Joys right now. Run. It's a good deal.
I wish I could give them my link so they could buy through my link, since I'm teaching them.
It didn't work. I don't know if
Go
your
get it
bundle isn't.
You have to go get it. I'll tell you how.
I went to here and it didn't work.
What is there? Let me see. Turn around.
This one, your Cricut Joy Bundle.
Go here. And you can get it from there. If we can't get it now, I'll put it in the description of the video later. It's not a big deal if you don't use my code. I appreciate it if you do. I earn a small commission, but if you don't use it, it's not that big of a deal. Use the coupon code, though, if you can. That lets them know I've been talking about them, and that's good. Yeah, you might have got the card maker's bundle, Mary. I love the bundles on Cricut. Now, let me explain to you the difference. I bought like my ScanNCut from HSN, I think. And they kind of do a generic bundle where you get a bunch of stuff. And I got stuff I've never used. But with Cricut, the way they separate out their bundles and they make them kind of topical, I love that. Because I don't know if y'all know this or not, but most people don't use their Cricut like I do. Most people don't use it for paper, for vinyl, for wood, for felt, for everything. Most people have a very specific craft that they do, and they use it for that specific craft. Oh, okay. So Tamitha found my link. So there it is. True, Pat, very good. If you are an Access member, you get to stack coupon codes, which is really cool with Cricut. So, and why not be an Access member? I don't understand it. I've been an Access member since day one. I know it costs money, but, and if you're only making like one thing a month, that's different. But if you're making 5 or 6 things a month, I find that it pays for itself over and over and over again. I've never gotten Access for free. They've never given that to me for free. I've always paid for it, and I've never regretted it. I do have a Cricut Maker, Rhonda. I have Explore 1, Explore. No, I don't have the Explore 1. I have the Explore Air. Wait. Yes, right? The Explore Air 2. Hold on, let me look around the room. What's that one? That's Air 2? I don't have my, let me put my glasses on.
I can't read.
Yes, that's the Air 2. That's the Maker. And then I have the Explore up front. I think I do. Oh, Tim, they say that link's not working. Try that one again.
Yeah,
it might have expired. I might need to refresh it. I will put it in the description.
Yeah, I don't have this login.
Okay, I'll put it in the description this afternoon. Didn't even think about it. Yes, have access and use the codes. They let you save so much money on their website. They really do. So, all right, guys. Any more questions? If not, we're going to go to the after show. I have a ton of stuff to show you in the after show. I went a little wacky. Not Vinny. This time I went wacky. And I brought in a ton of stuff. And I've had a lot of happy campers because of it, especially around here. So I want to show y'all all that stuff. So I just wanted to show you that today. Yes. I'm responsible for Mary buying hers. I love it. I love it. It's the Joy machine. I'll tell you this. After buying the Joy machine, it makes me want to use it for SVGs. Before, when I craft, I come to my crafting desk. I don't go to where I keep my big Cricut machines. When I use my Cricut machines, I pull them out. Like I keep them on a bookshelf and I pull them out. So for making 1 card or 5 cards, I don't like to pull my big machine out. And having this little guy on my desk, it literally, watch this, it literally sits right here. And even better, when I use my iPad, I just put my iPad right here, put my SVG here, send it right here, cut it out, and I'm making a card in 2 seconds. There's something about it. I just love that easy ability. Yeah, Miss Joan does too. Miss Joan does too. Let's see, wait. I want a Joy from who I thought was Cricut, but it was a customer. Oh, I don't know about that one. Okay, so I hope y'all enjoyed this. I just wanted to run over SVGs and try to answer questions as we go. Because like I said, a lot of times when I put those videos up, days later, we're not looking at the comments as much and we miss answering questions. And I wanted to kind of answer them as we go and keep them in one spot. And I don't want this video to get too awful long. And Tamitha, when you get a second, if you want to come back and title this one, Cricut Design Space and SVGs, your questions answered, that would help for people coming in later, I think. So since I didn't have a title for it earlier today. All right, guys, I'm going to end this stream. Actually, you can give a link because we have one today.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't had a link. While she's getting the link, I want to show you guys this. So save the date. Christmas Craft Acropolis has been secured, and I have some really good news. Really good news. Ready for this? You know how we said September 22nd, and we're like, no, it's actually the 23rd? Oh, no, chickadees. We were able to add the 22nd, so now the crop will start on Wednesday and go through Saturday. That's good, right? Now you'll get Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to crop. So you get like 3 full days of cropping when we do. It'll be, what's it, from like 3 o'clock Wednesday?
Yeah, not all day Wednesday. But
yeah, we have to set up in the morning. So 3 o'clock Wednesday to 5 o'clock Saturday for your crop tables. We're really excited about adding that nighttime. So that's September 22nd through the 25th of this year. That's an in-person crop. A lot of people are asking in-person or online. That's in-person. And then we're also having our holiday open house. And that is November 4th through the 6th, and that is also in person. We're doing it we're doing it multiple days this time, so everybody doesn't have to come at a 5-hour window. We have multiple days so everybody can kind of spread it out. So mark your calendar for those. I'm not going to leave those here this time. Did you see what I did to this one? Oh, that's yours. I demolished the other one, so.
That's cool.
All right, guys.
Just
the
paper.
link The link is in the description to the after show. You guys come over so we can chat. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. We only need 6,000 more subscribers to get to 300,000. Please click that red button. I want to do a huge giveaway, like something really, really cool. And the reason I'm not announcing it is because I want to wait and see what our COVID restrictions are before I purchase it. So listen, it's kind of cool. I want to wait and see where we are on COVID restrictions before I decide what the giveaway is for definite, okay? So click that red button to subscribe. It's free. It just says, hey YouTube, I like her channel. So click that for me. All right, we're going to end this live stream and we'll see you in the after show in just a second. Bye guys.